Hey, this is Frankie Edgar, and you're listening to PBR Podcast.
Hit it! Culture, sophisticated
Podcast, baby. Now tell me something good. Oh, yeah.
What's up, everybody? PBR Podcast, Mike Polano, Derek D, Frankie, the producer, and another Frankie in the house, very special guest. Thank you for coming out, man. Frankie Edgar, the one and only, sitting right here.
Yeah.
How you doing,
Good
man?
to have you,
Doing
man.
good, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
I put out a wish on Twitter that you would put Derek in a chokehold at some point.
I put out that same wish right back. And I said that Frankie would agree with me. Frankie, our Frankie.
Yeah, I was too busy setting up.
I can
get
see
on
this.
social media. I'm sorry.
This is going to get confusing right off the bat. We need to give you a new name for today.
Okay.
Producer.
You want me to
We're just going to call you
step
producer.
off mic? How
What about Frankie P? Frankie producer, Frankie P.
Thanks for coming out.
A lot of Frankies in my family also.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Are you, now, you're local. You're a local Jersey
Yeah,
guy, right?
yeah.
Are you born and raised Toms River?
I was born in Summit, New Jersey, lived in Kenilworth till I was like 3 probably, and then, moved down. So pretty much born and raised in Toms River, yeah.
How'd the family end up down here?
We used to come down to the shore. We used to go get a beach house in Lavalette every summer. So I think, just driving through Toms River, it's cheaper for them. They just decided to move down.
That bar used to be still over there?
Used to be.
Yeah, it's still
used to be there, yeah.
What was used to be? That was a big wings thing, right? Like
They were good. They had dollar bill like bottles.
Yeah, they still do well over there. Yeah.
Used to be.
now you have siblings, right?
I have a sister, yeah.
And are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
Yeah.
So your parents, what did they do? What do they do? They're still with us.
Yeah, they're still with us. Yeah. Well, my parents got divorced when I was like 6 or 7, something like that. And my mother remarried. My father, Frank, I call him Dad. He's it's funny. His name's Frank. Yeah, he owns a plumbing company, and my mom was helped with that, secretary and stuff like that.
Was your dad a wrestler or?
He did wrestle. Yeah,
So that's how you got into it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You were a wrestler in high school and stuff?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I started a little late. I wrestled like 3rd grade, for a month. My dad broke my collarbone actually teaching me wrestling.
Jeez.
So,
He broke your collarbone?
yeah. So then
Tough it up, kid.
I didn't start wrestling until 7th grade, full time. So that's when I started. But yeah,
That's funny because like nowadays, if you broke your kid's collarbone, diapers would be at the house.
they'd be
and
all
taking
over
the
you.
kid-
They'd be all over you. He's just like, lift your arm up. Don't let no one know what happened. I'm like, all right.
Put some ice on that kid. Get back in there.
That's it.
Right?
Rub some dirt on it.
It's like concussions. When I was growing up, I played Pop Warner, and you got your bell rung then.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like you have concussion protocol and you're out for weeks.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah,
they just know more. They know it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, I'm not sure when this is airing, but Andrew Luck out because of concussion. Luke Kuechly, on the Panthers.
Right.
He got carted off after concussion. He was crying because he was afraid. Did you see that?
I didn't know.
He was crying because he was afraid, not because he felt hurt at the moment, but that he's had so many concussions.
right.
He thought it might be the end of his career.
Right.
They might be like, well, you can't
They
play
put a
anymore.
cap on it, right? I guess.
Yeah, I
nowadays?
think there's something like that. Yeah.
I think that well, I mean, it's a true story, but that film that came out really
The
Will
concussion
Smith
movie,
was in
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
showed-
CTE.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
The brain damage to professional athletes, mostly a lot of football players.
Yeah.
boxers,
Well, it's
that kind of
crazy
thing.
that how they test like 90 people and 86 of them had it. I just think, and they can't determine it unless it's postmortem. I just think I bet you a lot of people get hit in the head from time to time probably have it. I think some people just get it worse than others. I imagine,
There's a lot of things with the head that I guarantee you, if people were scanned for any reason, 9 out of 10 people walking around on the street have something going on in there.
Yeah.
Do you know how
like
many
soccer players hitting head in the ball? Can't be good for you.
Yeah, my nephew, he plays, and right now he's 9. In his league, you cannot head the ball. He could head the ball, I think, next year, but like under 12 and under can't.
Especially the
head
kids,
the ball.
their brains are developing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It can't be good for them.
You remember how many concussions you've had?
Oh, hundreds.
Nobody, get out of here.
Hundreds, I'm sure, man.
You had 100, you'd be dead, dude.
No, well, listen. When I was playing football, I was a running back and a middle
I had 2 in
linebacker,
football.
Right. Well, they didn't call them concussions then, and I remember getting my bell rung and them saying go back out. And it's like I remember before the games we used to grab each other's face masks and slam our heads together to get pumped up.
Well,
And
yeah.
I remember having the worst headache, and we were giving ourselves concussions. You know what I mean?
I guess, but concussion, that's a big hit to
It's not as big as you think.
Yeah,
It
maybe,
re- it
so you're
really
saying
is.
maybe I had a bunch of little ones?
100%.
Because 2 were big, were like knocked out, body like numb.
That's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's there as you know, you're in the fight game. There's got to be levels of concussion.
I don't know. I just always know I got one when I throw up. If I hit in the head and I throw up, I got a concussion. So
How many have you had?
several. I mean, I had 3 when I was a young kid before I fought or wrestled or anything. Pretty good ones
Really?
put me in the hospital. And then through my career, I probably had 3 or 4.
So speaking to that, your dad is wrestling with you, and he's getting a little too rough. Was mom like afraid of you getting into the game, and like in high school, even in high school?
In high school, no, not wrestling. They were cool with it. Obviously, it was kind of part of the family things to do at the time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, fighting for sure. Both of them. I just got done with college, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna try to train MMA and get a couple of fights, this and that, see how it goes. And they were just like, why?
Now, you went to Rutgers, right?
No, no.
Or you coach at Rutgers?
I coach at Rutgers.
Right.
I'm still involved with the wrestling.
What do you coach?
program.
Wrestling?
Wrestling, yeah. I did, a couple years back, but I'm still involved. I still go up and work out with the guys. So, but I went to Clarion University, which is Western PA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big wrestling school?
Yeah, it's small. It's a small school, but Division I wrestling. Everything else Division II. Yeah.
I have so many questions about this. I used to our paths have crossed 60%. I have a speech impediment.
He does.
Our paths have crossed once before. I used to commentate for New Breed Fighters.
Okay.
So I used to a lot of your fighters and you would
Yeah.
coach would come out there when we were doing the productions of that. What do you think about that? Like the way if you just look at MMA, like UFC, if you look at UFC 1, remember how it used to be like one dude was a karate guy and one guy was a boxer, and they would literally come out with one guy had boxing gloves on,
Oh yeah.
and the other guy.
it's night and day.
And now it's so cross trained, right? And you being a wrestler, like, do you see that the cross training is slowing the game down? Like everybody's so well prepared.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just back in the day. One discipline could beat all the other disciplines. That's what Hoist Gracie did.
Right.
He was a smaller guy. I mean, now you can't have a small guy fight a big guy now because
Right.
now everyone's disciplined. Everyone knows this and that. And if you're missing one hole, say you're great at jiu-jitsu, great at wrestling, but you just think it's you got to have if someone will exploit that hole. You got to kind of be well-rounded if you want to be the best at everything in this game nowadays.
Do people? Everybody's cross training, right? Nobody's just cross training one. There's nobody that's doing one discipline.
No, I mean, I'm sure there's people that like to strike more than they do
Sure.
anything, but they definitely are versed in submission defense and wrestling, know how to defend takedowns or get takedowns. They definitely people tend to maybe like one area more than the other, but I think everyone's doing everything nowadays.
Was that hard for you to be coming from wrestling to go start striking?
I think a little bit. I mean, I grew up kind of always getting in scraps and stuff. I mean, I wasn't by any means a good technical striker or anything, but I was
Right.
willing to throw. I think that's half the battle. You got to be willing to get in there and
Right. Who
let
wants it
them loose.
more, right?
And that helped me make the transition quicker. Is that I was willing to just stay in the thick of it a little bit.
For audience members that don't know, striker is like
Stand up, like someone boxing.
Boxing,
Yeah.
kickboxing, Muay Thai, stuff like that. It's a striker, yeah.
And do you find yourself being more technical, just more of a technical fighter?
I guess so. I mean, I pay attention to detail a lot. My coaches are very on top of us for making sure we don't make any mistakes, stuff like that. So I do think I'm technical in that aspect, yeah.
If you could get in a ring with Donald Trump, do you think like Donald Trump striking would be Don? Do you think you could beat Frankie?
I would destroy him. Okay, first off, right off the bat, my hair. Okay, the power of it. Rub it with my hands. Boom, slap him right around. He's done. Bye.
What do you think? You think you take Donald?
Donald's.
You didn't know you were going to meet President-elect
Yeah,
the POTUS.
I did not
right?
know that.
Frankie, here's the answer. Okay, you lose. All right, that's it.
Oh, wow. He took your own nickname and threw it right at you. I don't know. Don, I think the only defense you have is to clone Frankie and make a wall of him.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'll clone this guy's hands right across the border. Boom. You try to run into the fence, you get punched right in the face. What do you call it, a striker? Yeah, you get struck.
Donald Trump, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, you're an idiot.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
That's great.
So you just took part in like a huge, I guess, monumental
MSG.
event, right?
Yeah,
First time
yeah.
in New York City.
It was unbelievable,
Yeah.
man. It was very, very cool, just being a Jersey guy and going up to the city my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around the city, all fight week. I just didn't feel like it was fighting. Just I'm, so used to just being in the city
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And Yeah, Hensel Gracie's right next door, right next to the garden, and the hotel was literally right there. Just walked everywhere. It was beautiful.
What took so long, man? Like, why you fought in? Well, you've had kids you trained fight in Atlantic City. I don't know if you fought in AC.
I fought in AC early in my career,
and you fought
before UFC. Yeah.
Prudential Center.
I fought in Prudential
Right.
Center, yeah, but back in 2007, I think. Yeah.
Even in Philly, right? Did you ever fight at the what is it called in Philadelphia? Where
Spectrum, not Spectrum. right?
not the old. That's the old Spectrum.
Where the Flyers play?
Yes, the FU Center. I think it's called.
Yeah.
First
Oh, First
Fidelity,
Union.
First
First
Union.
Union used to be-
Did you ever
used to
fight
be.
there?
It's called Wells Fargo now.
Oh,
isn't it?
okay, yeah.
No, I never fought there. Teammate, I've been there. My teammates fought there.
I was at the fight where Anderson Silva fought Griffith.
Forrest, yeah, that's
and
my
he-
teammate fought that. Ricardo Almeida fought
Such
that
a
night.
great card.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so you know Pennsylvania, New Jersey, everybody's allowing it. What took so long in New York City?
It was just politics. It had nothing to do with, they were trying to say it was because of the dangerous and all that. But I mean, if you looked at a map of North America and South America, the only spot there was no one's allowed to
It was
fight
the only
was
place.
New York, the only place.
Wow.
What was the reason behind that? Just
And well,
Like
it's
you
because
said,
the
politics.
Red
politics.
tape?
But what? I had a little background information. The Zuffa, who owns UFC, is the Fertitta brothers. Not anymore. They sold it. But when they did, they also owned Palace Station Casino in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're the big non-union shop. And they're trying to have them go union, have them go union. They won't go union. They voted. Their employees voted.
So you
not
guys
to
are
go.
union?
No, we're not.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
So. But they weren't union either. The Palace Stations weren't.
Right, okay.
So the unions are strong in New York. They back a lot of politicians. So when they wanted to get them sanctioned here, they kept them out. So all the politicians were kind of just blocking the UFC, not for any other reason, but to back the unions.
Now, the fighters. Do the fighters want to be unionized? Because I know.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough situation. I think.
Well, didn't they strip you of your right basically to wear for advertising? Right, you can't
did, yeah.
wear whatever you want anymore. You have to wear what is it? Is it Reebok?
Well, it's Reebok, yeah. And we used to get a lot of money on sponsors, and now you can't get sponsors. So just a patch on your
Really?
shirt or a patch on your short. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you're not
remember
allowed
their
to have
shorts? Some guys
No,
were
I know.
tattooing their backs.
No, I know, but I didn't realize that you couldn't on your own. You have to
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
And you
no.
said you're on a team. Like how many guys are on your team?
Well, a team is like the people we train with. It's not like our team is in
Oh,
the
okay.
UFC. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of my teammates are in the UFC. It's not like you're not like a team versus team type of sports. Definitely an individual sport. But
They tried that, right?
They did like a reality show like that, But they don't really do have like a card where it's like Jackson's versus AKA or something like that. Just we call them teams, just like the places our guys train.
I got to ask you, and I know, Mike's very familiar with the sport, and I watch it, but I'm just like a regular watcher of it, layman. So people like when you get hit in the face, like what?
Can you do that?
Do
Can
you
show
like-
how it
do you
feels?
like-
Please, I'll pay you.
No, like I'm sure like when you first started fighting, like obviously you went from wrestling and then you kind of gradually got into UFC fighting and stuff like that. But like I have no desire to get punched in the face or punch someone in the face unless they're doing something terrible to someone I know or me. But like when you just get like, is that like the worst feeling ever, or is it like usually
I
don't want you to punch me, but
usually you don't feel it, for the most part. Especially when you get rocked, it's scary. When you get rocked, it's almost euphoric feeling. It doesn't hurt at all. It kind of like feels kind of good. So you
Really?
you kind of get everything slows down, and you're like, yeah, another one wouldn't hurt so bad. That's
Yeah.
the scary thing.
And is that kind of when you're vulnerable and then and then boom, you get that
Yeah.
knockout punch.
That's it.
But let me ask you this, and I'm sure you get this question all the time. Like you're out, some jerk is yapping and maybe he's messing with you or whatever, and you're probably being like, hey man, no, I don't want to. Like it's so funny that they have no clue who you are, and then you would just destroy them. Has that ever happened where you just
No,
like one punch, like, dude, I told you not to?
No, I haven't gotten into a fight since I've been in the UFC, like outside of the UFC. You know what I mean?
Because
So-
I guess at the same time you got to be very careful about.
Yeah, well, we can get in a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
And I definitely, if I go out, I got a bunch of my friends with me, and no one's looking for trouble.
Yeah,
But,
I'm
I
not saying
mean-
you were. I'm just saying.
no,
if-
no. I'm saying no one, even other people, I haven't at least. And I don't believe. I got 3 kids, man. I don't get out much, so it kind of takes care of that.
But I mean, you're a built guy, but you're like my height, and I feel like someone might look at him and be like, "Oh, this is
Yeah,
you're
growing up-
a UFC fighter." They find out who you are,
yeah.
and it's like, dude, you don't want to. Like, I'm like, I want to mess with, But man, that's interesting.
I think I learned from commentating the fights that you do all the weight classes, obviously, that you just never mess with anybody. First of all, because you shouldn't, and second of all, because you never know who knows
Yeah,
what.
you're
man.
right.
Yeah, dude.
You're right.
People-
Especially nowadays. I mean,
Yeah.
it's UFC, MMA is very popular, and my wife's doing jiu-jitsu now. You know,
nice.
she just started jiu-jitsu at 34 years old. So, yeah, it's you don't know who's training nowadays.
You're 135. That's you.
145.
145.
Yeah,
And at the MSG fight, what was your weight there?
145.
Oh, it was 145.
Yeah,
Okay.
the weight class. Yeah.
So when you're coming out of college and you make that decision, you talk to your parents about, I think I'm going to give it a shot. How did you go about doing that? Like, what's the avenue to like getting in?
To that
to go
point,
pro.
I just found a place local. I found a place in Bricktown. I just started training there. It was because of the closest gym. I fought 2 weeks after I started training. Just wanted to get in there and see if I really wanted to do it. So
Were you boxing or anything before that? Like just training with?
no, I mean, we were just training MMA. For 2 weeks I was training solid MMA, but
Yeah.
I was pretty much just a wrestler that didn't mind getting hit. At that point. And I had my first fight ever was actually in New York. It was an unsanctioned event. It's called New York Underground, and you go up and there's no weigh-in, there's no ambulance. I
Literally underground.
I used the gloves that I was wearing for the last training for the last like 3 weeks, and I headbutt the dude and everything too. So yeah,
You won?
You won?
I won.
Nice.
Yeah. But I got paid I think $160. I had 16 people go, so you get $10 for
Right.
every ticket you sell. So I made $160, but I took 2 big knees to the face right away. This guy was actually pretty at the time. I don't know. I just wanted to fight. I ended up being the main event, which is kind of funny. He's a New York kid. Everyone was there for him. It seemed like
It was kind of like a Rocky
everyone was
situation. A little bit.
cheering for my demise, and
That probably fueled you a little more though.
yo, for sure. I didn't want to. I was like, I can't go out like this. And first one, my old man came up. My wife was there. Well, fiance at the time. And literally, they were there, like holding the ropes. And there was nothing professional about this.
Is she like, like it's hard to watch? Or
Yeah,
she like,
well,
just go get him, baby?
Yeah, I don't know. She's a nervous wreck the day of a fight.
I was about to say,
She's
yeah,
probably just like Adrian and Rocky, right?
Yeah.
Like can't watch.
Yeah, it's tough.
This was right
Just
out
see
of
him, you know how
college?
strong he is.
This was right out
Right,
of
you
college.
were, like,
Yeah,
22
I
or
was
23?
I was 23. It took
Yeah.
5 years in college. We redshirted, so we took our time. But yeah, I took that knee. I took a pretty powerful knee, like a Muay Thai knee. Had me in a clinch. And it kind of like 2 of them, kind of shucked him off, and then I ended up finishing him maybe a couple minutes after. But I broke up my orbital bone, and I didn't know until
In that fight?
In that fight, my
The
first
first
fight
fight.
ever, and I didn't know that I broke it. So I went to the bathroom and at dinner with my family and
After the
my
fight.
teams, yeah. And I didn't look like I got in a fight at all, but my nose was bleeding, so I went to blow my nose and my whole face just blew up in there.
Oh,
I look
what?
like Rocky. My whole face just blew up.
Did
in
it go
there.
back down? Like
Eventually, yeah. Eventually went down, but
You had to freak out when that happened.
I was like, holy shit. I didn't know what, I've never seen that, heard anything like that.
Oh my God,
So I'm
dude.
sitting there, I could feel the air in between my head and my scalp, like crackling. It was creepy.
I have so much
And
respect for.
I'm trying to push it out of my eyeball,
Yeah,
on my knucklehead. And
oh my God.
yeah, but
That's a tough one to come back from
yeah.
too, right? Like,
well, I was lucky. I went to the hospital that night. They did the X-ray. They said, some people need plastic surgery because it could shift your face and everything. Mine was not a bad break.
Yeah.
I just took some time and.
So would you say that gave you the fighting bug?
Well, I just at that point, I still liked it.
Yeah.
I won. I was sexual. Supposedly that kid I fought was good. I knew I could take a shot, and I knew I was willing to get in there again after breaking my
And
face. So I must be cut out for it.
the victory must have felt good.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking shit to the crowd and stuff. Yeah, I felt like I was in high school again.
I mean, obviously, there's a big level of showmanship and kind of like putting on a show as well as the fight. Like look at McGregor.
I'm more of like let my actions do the talking type
Yeah.
of guy. But yeah, it is part of it. It is entertainment.
Man,
And you came into the game at a really good time too, right? You were coming in as the UFC was exploding.
Yeah, kind of taking off. I mean, I the reason it got me interested in UFC is the Ultimate Fighter show just came out. That was my senior year, and
Of college or
of
high school?
college? Yeah, it's my senior year of college, and that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this. I don't know, this is pretty cool. I see some wrestlers that I actually wrestled in my same conference in college. A kid, Josh Koscheck, he was on the
Oh, yeah.
show, and I was like, yeah, if he's doing it, there's no reason I can't. So that's when I started really, thinking about doing it.
And he was good for a long. Is he still in the league? He was good
He's
for a
in
long time.
Bellator.
Right?
He's in Bellator
Okay.
now. Yeah, he has lost quite a few in a row, but.
So you're fighting, or you walk around at what 145, or you walk around heavier? Probably.
I mean, a little bit heavier, yeah, but I'm not I don't cut as much as some of these guys do. You know,
you don't really cut much at all, right? Like that's
no. By the time I get down, I probably cut 8 pounds a week of a fight when guys are cutting 20. You know,
and you fought at 55.
I fought at 55. I cut 0.
But you haven't fought 35.
Not yet, but
are you gonna do it?
I could maybe. I don't know. I don't want to go. I'll go down. It sucks. Cutting weight's horrible. Like I barely cut 45, and I hate it already, so
10 more
35
pounds, man.
It'd definitely be rough, but I know I could make it. I just say if it's for a title, they're offering me a title shot, I'll go down.
So 45, you've won the title.
No, I won
or
at 55. Yeah,
so you haven't won at 45.
No, I fought for it I fought for it and lost.
Against who?
Aldo.
Yeah. That was recent, right?
And 5 fights ago too.
So at 35 is McGregor? No, what is he?
Excuse me. He's at 40. He has the 45-pound
he has
title
the 45.
and the 55-pound title.
Oh, he has both.
Yeah.
Why don't you go get them?
Yeah.
Would you ever fight him?
I would love to. I tell. I mean, of course, I've been trying to fight that guy for years. I just don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, I'm not singing and dancing anymore for it.
Yeah.
It's really up to him. He's the one that has to pick. But I'll do it anyway. I'll do it at 170. I'll do it any weight. I'd love to fight that guy. I mean. Why?
Why? Yeah. Why is it an attractive fight for you? Is it attractive because he runs his mouth and you just want to fight him?
No, that doesn't bother me,
or is it because
really.
you want to go after the best right now? He has the belt, so I'm calling him the best.
Yeah. No. I mean, you would think it's more lucrative. I think when you have if we were fighting for the belt and I had a title too, then I get a piece of pay-per-view, and definitely it would be a big money fight. Mm-hmm. But obviously he brings a lot more attention, so that is a reason. I think I match up well with him, and if he is this as good as he seems to be, I don't want to pass my career up and not have him on my record,
And when you watch him fight, so he won the last one. The one before that is the one he lost, or he won the last two and won.
He won the last two.
The last two. So the fight that he lost, do you watch that and be like, okay, I can see a weakness here. I can see this.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, cause somewhat. He fought Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is a totally different fighter than me, so it's kind of tough to say I can go do what Nate did well in that fight. But I mean, there's certain things that you can see he's not strong in. McGregor, he gets tired. He doesn't deal with adversity well, and he's kind of got holes on the ground. But he is getting better. I'll give you that though. His last fight, he's showing improvement on his takedown defense, and I'm sure on the ground he's bringing in the right people to train with. So I'm not knocking Conor at all. He's obviously doing the right things, and I mean he's putting people away. So he's definitely on top of it.
Do you feel like you're the kind of fighter that can go the distance? Like you like your stamina. Like you're a stamina type fighter, like you could.
Yeah. I definitely got a good tank, and just avoid that left hand from. I think I got a shot at beating Conor. I drag him to deep water. I think.
Oh man,
I would love to see that. I would love to see.
I really would. For real.
But again, I just don't think it's happening. I'm almost I'm almost sick of talking about it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Like, what power do you have actually to even go for that fight? Because you're not. It's run by the UFC. Like Dana White makes the matchups, or
pretty much. I mean, it's
at his discretion, right?
It is. It's them.
Really?
It's Conor. Conor has to make the choice too.
Is there a number one contender, like a legit? They don't do that, right?
They do. We have rankings, and they don't mean anything. They really don't. It's kind of just what they think makes the most sense. What's going to bring in the most viewership. Mm-hmm. Dan Henderson just fought for the 85-pound title, and I mean he was 2-5 in his last something fights. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought it was great. I thought he deserved it. He almost won that fight against Bisping too. I mean, just for a storied guy, like he's almost 50 years old. For a guy, I could see the exception why they did that, gave him that title shot. But I mean, if you do that, you're saying that the rankings really don't mean anything.
And Bisping, another Ultimate Fighter.
What's your UFC record alone?
I don't even know.
How many UFC fights have you had?
I've had 21.
Oh, jeez.
So I've lost 5 of them.
Oh, that's a pretty great record.
So whatever that is, I'm not good at math.
None of us are. Cindy Lesperance, our fact checker. Fact check our math. We have a fact checker.
How long have you been? Like once you're UFC, or were you a pro fighter before you were UFC?
Yeah,
UFC kind of gives you that.
Right,
it's like NFL.
Exactly, that's what I just say. MMA is the sport, like football is the sport, and NFL is UFC. So
that's awesome.
Which brings me to the question: every time we have a professional athlete sit in that chair, I always ask the same question, because obviously you've gotten to the NFL of your sport. When did you realize that you were a special athlete? Like you had what it took, the ability to go pro?
See, like for me, it's different because in high school and college, there's no pro for wrestling. MMA wasn't even really, wasn't an option. I didn't even think of it in high school or college that I'd like to be a pro fighter. I mean, I remember watching Rocky movies and kung fu movies and be like, damn, well, I want to fight. I wish I could fight, but not, I know it was a career. And so it was probably like that moment. I think I was when I came out of college, I was pursuing a fighting career, but I was doing it more for fun. Because again, I still didn't know how realistic it was. When I first started MMA, 55-pound division wasn't even in the UFC. So a lot of those guys were going overseas to Japan and fight. So I thought that if I wanted to pursue it professionally, I have to do something, in that route. But
or I guess the Olympics would be the only other option.
That's
the
what I was
Olympics
thinking
and
for
wrestling, which is the Olympics people don't get. There's only 6 weight classes, and you have to be the number one guy that day. It's it's not like and fighting, you don't have to be the number one guy every day, just the days you fight. And you have to qualify. It's very hard. And I'm not saying that I could have done it anyway.
What about, isn't it? But there's also not just wrestling in the Olympics. Isn't there jiu-jitsu?
There's like worlds. Yeah, you could actually make money, being a professional jiu-jitsu player more so than wrestling.
Wrestling actually is no longer an Olympic sport. Right?
No,
Didn't they take it out?
It is. They're going to petition. They're going to keep petitioning to get it back in.
They took it out for this year, right?
I think no. 2020. Yeah, no. It was in 2016.
Okay.
I think 2020. I think 2024. It's still on limbo though.
That's crazy.
I know.
It's the sport that started the
original.
Olympics.
Yeah, it's pretty
You know what I
stupid
mean?
that they would take.
I don't
out.
think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that.
Did you play football when you were younger?
I didn't. I wanted to so bad. I think I played one half a year, or maybe when I was real little. I don't remember. Then I played. I think it was 6th or 7th grade. I was like, and I ended up getting a concussion.
There you go.
And
probably getting psyched up.
Not even playing, but like playing with my friends. Not even playing football or anything. And I just couldn't do it the rest of the season.
My one football coach was always like, "Come out for the wrestling team." So I'm kind of a stocky guy, and I was like,
Here we go, Derek. It's all about Derek.
No, I'm
He
just
always
saying.
finds it to himself,
I'm saying, like,
Frankie.
he was an awesome wrestler, and like we're probably like around the same height.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. He was an awesome wrestler, and you kind of thought about
Oh
wrestling.
no, he would. I was not going to be a good wrestler. I was a decent football player.
All right, Frank. That music.
Which Frank?
Shit, right? I called you Frank like we've known each
That's
other
cool,
forever.
that's
I
cool.
apologize.
Nah, that's cool.
Frankie.
Yeah, it's all good.
We're gonna hear that music indicates we're gonna play a little game called Top or Bottom. The other Frankie's laughing at me right now. Frankie with an eye. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing.
You're totally laughing at me.
Taking notes here.
All right, so top or bottom, how this game is played, I'm going to read you 2 terms. If these things were in a relationship, which one would be on the top and which one would be on the bottom? You're going to explain to us why. We're going to round table it.
All right.
Top or bottom, number 1, politics or plumbing? Well, you want to know why?
Hey, I'm gonna say, plumbing's on top. Plumbing's on top.
I asked that question because you have a degree in political science.
Yeah.
But he was a plumber as well.
Well, I'll say plumbing's on top.
You don't like politics. Donald, are you pissed about that? I mean,
Well, it doesn't matter, okay, because the plumbing in the White House is going to be made of gold pipes. It's going to be fantastic. I got to tell you, I'm going to be taking shits all day, okay?
gold, right down the gold pipe.
Plumbing on top, politics.
But plumbing got to be on top. Shit runs downhill. Politics,
Yeah, the shit's, the shit's all the top.
I have to go plumbing on top now. I mean,
I'm going plumbing
that
on top.
logic.
Yeah, in this day and age,
They're both in the
now-
shitter.
Yeah, man, plumbing 100%. Pipe the remember History of the World? Plumbing here. Pipe the shit right out of your house. Takes place a long time ago. Top or bottom, number 2, jiu-jitsu or wrestling?
You know what? I'm going to say they're intertwined with each other because they're grappling right now. No, it's so tough.
Yeah.
I came from wrestling, so if I had to pick, I'll say wrestling on top. But, I mean, to me, they're the same sport.
Yeah?
They're the same sport.
Well, one
yeah.
you can fight off your back, one you don't want to go to your
I know, one's more, but I'm saying as far as a martial art,
Yeah.
they're the same sport. Because, I mean, in wrestling, I'm not, I don't have to worry about being on my back when I'm fighting.
Yeah.
So wrestling I can use differently.
I mean, a
to me,
takedown's a
they're
takedown,
the
right?
same sport. Yeah, wrestling just helps me control. Jiu-jitsu helps me with my movement, kind of, I'd say.
If you're saying they're the same sport, somebody who would disagree with you, how would they distinguish the two?
Well, no, wrestling is more of a controlled based sport. You're trying to score points. Jiu-jitsu is you can position. I'm sorry. Wrestling is a position control based sport. Jiu-jitsu is position 2. You can score points, but you're looking for a submission.
Okay, I see.
Because you can't do
want them to
chokes
tap
and
out?
Yeah, you try to tap someone out. Wrestling, you don't do that. You look for a pin in wrestling.
I would say jiu-jitsu, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a more practical art, right? Like if you get attacked on the street, jiu-jitsu would help you more than wrestling?
No,
No?
they're
You
the
disagree?
same. They're the same. Jiu-jitsu was invented for a smaller person to defend themselves against a larger person. Wrestling is that not so much. Wrestling's more force for force. Jiu-jitsu is more technical.
Strategic?
I'd say.
More
Yeah, it is. I don't want to say to me it's so tough because to me they're both
Yeah.
the same thing. You know, you get the best jiu-jitsu guys and the best wrestlers. They're very similar in their approach.
Yeah, I find that interesting. I think that's the first time I've ever heard someone say like, that they're the same. But it's interesting. I think I'm gonna go jujitsu on top.
I mean, if he's saying it's the same, then the argument's over. I'll
I
never
know.
have that conversation again.
I know some
I know.
purists won't say that. Purists might not say that. To me, it's a very similar sport. And then my jiu-jitsu made my wrestling better, and my wrestling makes my jiu-jitsu better. That's how I feel.
Right on.
I mean, I never did either, but I feel like jujitsu is like, yo, I know jujitsu. You're like, yo, you wrestle. Oh, like WWF?
You mean,
I'll tell you what. Jiu-jitsu, at least to me, jiu-jitsu has a finishing move. I could choke you out. I could break your arm. I could do this. Wrestling, I mean, I really
So nonchalant. I can break your arm.
Can you do all of those things to him, please? Again?
But like, have you ever broke someone's arm?
No. Actually, with a kick, I may have in a fight,
Jeez.
but not with a submission. Most people tap. I mean, you're smart. You want to tap.
You don't wanna
Yeah, no
break-
one wants to get hurt,
No.
you know? I'll say jiu-jitsu on top. I'm the last of 5, and my older brother used to dominate me, so I learned how to, like, survive off my back. You know what I mean? Which made me a terrible wrestler. Like, I wrestled
Yeah,
freshman
yeah.
year, and that was it. Because I just always go to my
your back. Felt comfortable there.
But I trained jiu-jitsu for a bunch of years. I was never any good. My teacher was terrible, Brian Wright. I don't know if you. No, he's a good guy. But I always felt like jiu-jitsu, like I could do more in jiu-jitsu than wrestling. I was terrible at wrestling. And as a football player, learning to not get my head stuck on a takedown, you know what I mean? Because in football, you slide the head underneath and you
Right.
tackle. And that puts you right into a rear naked choke. So every time, or I'm sorry, a guillotine choke.
Yeah.
So every time I tried to take somebody down, I got choked out. It was very frustrating. You know?
Certain things you got to fix your position for stuff like that. But yeah, no, same sport to me.
Top or bottom, number 3, mozzarella or mozzarella?
I don't know. You know, I growing up, my grandmother's Italian, my parents are Italian, so they say mozzarella.
Yeah.
My wife is Italian too, but she says mozzarella.
Oh
so.
no, she doesn't.
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
you gotta change that, man. Mozzarella.
Yeah, mozzarella. That's just
How do you say it?
mozzarella.
You're kind of doing both.
Yeah, you're doing a little bit of both. You're in the middle.
Mozzarella. How do you say it?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I feel like that's. I
got the
feel like you
moats.
guys are a little bit. Yeah.
No,
I
stop
do.
it. All right,
no,
Rob
I
It's
Ford.
not a little bit.
I
It's
do
just
think
what I
you're-
heard in my house all growing up.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
grandmother. Mozzarella.
I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
Gavadillos, mozzarella.
Gavadillos, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You know, it's someone.
But I
I'm
don't
trying
do
to
the,
explain
like,
gavadillos
with
to
my
someone in
throat.
college, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Gavadillos." Like, what are you talking
Yeah, I
about?
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Fucking the
Where you went,
the spinny
you know what I
pasta.
mean?
you know?
Yeah.
Can
Don't you mean Cavatelli?
Yeah.
I think your dad said it that way. I think your mom said it a little bit different, just slightly different. I think a girl can't make that guttural noise that you guys make in your neck, in your throat.
I don't know. They always said the
Guttural
same
draw,
thing.
yeah.
Say it again.
Guttural draw?
No,
Mozzarella?
say it. Say the word.
Mozzarella.
Gavadillo? Mozzarella.
Like your mom didn't say it like that. Your dad
No.
probably did.
We
Your
probably call
mom,
it mutz. Like we would
Yeah.
probably slang it.
Mozzarella.
Nobody like when you do the Italian. Do your uncle. You know when you say
Hey, get a
mutz.
mozzarella way.
Like that is Tony Soprano.
uncles
La-
talk like that.
Yeah.
Your dads definitely.
Well, yeah, but like, and another one too. Like
Like
when I was
your
little,
mom
the same thing
did.
you said. You were like, no, it's Gavadil. Like
Yeah.
I used to say like Gupaline, which is like you know
Yeah,
the
the hat.
knitted
Yeah,
hat.
yeah.
I remember being like 4th grade, and they were like, no, it's a Scully. I'm like, no, it's not. Everyone knows it's a Gupaline.
I've never heard Gubaline.
I thought that's just what it was called. I didn't know it was an Italian thing.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought that was the name.
You know Gubaline?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like
Beanie.
And in North Jersey, this awesome bakery called Vidiello's. I used to think, my parents would talk about it so much, we ate it all the time. I thought like it was world famous. So I remember I was talking to like a teacher in 5th grade. I was like, Vidiello's, you know, everyone knows about it. Like, no, I never heard. I'm like, I can't believe it. Because you get so ingrained in the way
Yeah.
that your family talks about things.
I guess mozzarella. I guess
I'm going
I say
mozzarella.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think I have to say mozzarella.
I'll never forget when I grew up my whole life calling it gavadil, and then I read it on a menu, and I'm like, "What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?"
Yeah, yeah,
And they're like, "You know, you've had it a million times. Gavadil."
There's
That's not
a
how you
delicious.
say
And my
spell
friends make
gavadil.
fun of me for saying, still to this day, saying monogot.
I was just gonna say that, and there's a delicious fried dish that you get all the time when you go out with marinara sauce, right? Like what is it called?
Calamari.
Right? How do you say?
Calamari.
It's not calamari. right? Like nobody says, "Can I have the fried calamari?" Do they? Maybe they.
I always
do.
feel weird when I order it because I want to be like, I'll get the calamari.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's getting very-
Like I end the sound with a D, but my beginning sound sounds like the K, and you guys are saying like ga.
It's a- calamari.
Ga. Like
It's-
do
yeah,
you do
the
that
ga.
that neck?
It's
that
getting
throat
very
thing?
Italian, and
Yeah,
you're
it's
starting to smell like oil.
Calamari.
It's
Like
a
I
D?
think like.
But it's actually calamar. Like
Right,
calamar.
I
Yeah,
know.
we add the D. Yeah.
Calamari.
Yeah.
All right, I called an audible on number 4. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I don't know if anybody's going to get it. I think Frankie will. So we'll go top or bottom number 4. Do you check the oil or do you tap?
Wait a second.
Do you check the oil or do you tap?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So you're saying do I let someone check my oil?
No. You're gonna get choked out. But if you or whatever.
Oh no, you check the oil. Is
that legal?
Absolutely. No. Listen, any means necessary.
Do you know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I
that
can
legal?
imagine, but I'm like,
You know,
Yeah, but is it legal?
Probably
I
not.
mean-
No, probably not.
They don't
Probably
see?
not. Hey, I'll do whatever. If I'm out going out, every last straw. You know.
right? You got to do what you got to
Yeah,
do, man.
yeah.
Sometimes you got to check the oil.
pass.
You know,
You're gonna pass.
I'm gonna pass.
You're gonna tap out then. So just say tap is on top.
I'm not saying anything. You'll use it in the edit.
Derek's like, I checked the oil yesterday.
out of here.
I just got my haircut. He checked my oil.
It's a girl.
Oh, well, she checked.
She was at the show.
That's cool.
By the way, it was a great show. I don't know, man.
Edit.
I don't do either, so I'll just tap out.
You're just gonna tap out. You're not gonna check the oil. You'd rather lose than get out of it.
I'm not a fighter, man. I want to get out of there, right away. I'm like, what's the name in Entourage, the movie? I'm like Turtle.
Yeah.
I have a good friend. I don't know if you know him.
Yes, I do. How do I know?
He was a wrestling coach.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine. And he used to tell me the story all the time about checking the oil.
He went to East. He went to East.
Yeah, yes.
Mr. Reed, my high school coach, was his high school
Oh,
coach.
okay, right on.
So I'm sure this is where he learned it from.
He said I think he was wrestling because he said he wasn't that great in high school, but then he went to college and he really hit his stride.
Right.
And he was going for. I think he was going for like nationals or something like that, and he was losing, and he had to check the oil at the very end to do a reversal, and he said, he just grabbed, and he kind of, threw the El Duce.
You mean like what, kind of like hiding it? Like,
Well, yeah, you have to hide. You can't just stick your finger in somewhere. It's not a proctology exam.
No, I'm thinking like you're like in a hold and it's hidden. I don't fucking know. I never done it, but I'm just saying like.
Yeah, he went for a reach. And it was
Yeah.
wrestling, and he threw him in there, and the dude was like. Reacted like you would think,
Yeah.
and he got the point. He won. He became national champion.
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Check
right?
the oil on top,
Definitely.
hands down.
All right,
If
if
it's
you
going
guys
to give
say
you a
so.
belt, right?
Check the oil.
Top or bottom, number 5, boxing or MMA?
Oh, I mean that's I'm a boxing fan. I am, but I mean shit, MMA is my life. So MMA.
MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, in honor of our
Even
guest.
coming from in honor of the
In
guest,
honor
but
of our guest.
coming from your family,
Yeah.
knowing your father.
Yeah. But it's new, I'm into how industries are somewhat transformed. I mean, I guess MMA did not replace boxing, but
I think they're two separate sports. I hate when people try to compare the two. I think there's room for both. I'm a big boxing fan, but MMA's on top.
you know what? I
Pays the
mean,
bills.
and I'm as Derek said, I'm a layman watcher. When there's a big UFC fight on, everybody wants to watch it here. They're asking me if I'm getting the fight.
Right.
That's my level of involvement with it. I may have known a couple guys that, fought a little bit, but I don't have a real working knowledge of it. But I don't know when a boxing match is on.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
know when
yeah.
pretty much, I know when it's a big
Yeah.
UFC
It's
night.
definitely more mainstream,
Prominent.
I think,
Yeah, I think it's not that it replaced it, but I think it has kind of like shadowed it
Yeah.
a little bit, right?
I feel like kind of gone are the days of. I mean, like back in the day, it was like heavyweight, like boxing,
Yeah, Mike
like
Mike Tyson.
Mike
I was
Tyson,
just gonna say that's
Buster
like
Douglas.
the last boxer I could
And
name.
now it's like it's a lot lighter weight guys. It's the Pacquiaos. It's the but I feel like it's not as big as MMA is.
Are
now.
they less often?
And I find myself watching probably MMA more than I watch boxing. But although I do enjoy watching
Yeah,
both.
I mean MMA is just UFC is almost every week.
I was just gonna say, is there a
FS1,
pattern?
it's on all the time.
And MMA, UFC, I'd rather it's when they put a card together, their whole card. You can go to the prelims and they're gonna be good fights. So you go to a boxing match, they're setting it up pretty much just for the main event.
Yeah.
So you don't really know anybody else on the card except the two guys that are fighting in the main event usually.
Yeah, I'll have to agree. I mean, MMA on top. I mean, like you said, gone are the days of the heavyweights. Like when we were growing up, Mike, like watching Tyson was something special. But MMA did.
Vander.
Like UFC did not exist yet.
No,
you know what I mean.
But you know, there's just no heavyweights in American heavyweights in boxing right now. You know, it's tough.
Even if
George
there were,
Foreman,
though,
he was huge.
even if there were like those heavyweights, the American fighters, don't you think? Do you think boxing is dead?
No, I don't think boxing's dead. I don't. It's just a different space. I think there's plenty of room for both. I mean, you're seeing some guys come up. There's just no American heavyweights. The guys, everyone think heavyweight's the toughest guy in the world. The box, right? That's kind of
The
like
biggest and the baddest.
The biggest and the baddest, right? And now you ask them who the heavyweight champ is. I don't even know.
I have no idea
because there's
either.
not an American guy probably.
It's probably some like big Russian or something.
So what about like McGregor and Floyd? I mean, do you think something like that would ever happen? I know people talk about that kind of stuff, but like, what sport would you fight? And wouldn't the person, if you're fighting boxing, doesn't Floyd have the huge advantage and vice versa?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I would think so.
So you think it'll ever happen? Like not just those two, but anybody?
I don't know. I would say, I mean, if it's gonna happen, it would be those two, or at least it would be Conor and someone else, just because of the attention he brings and kind of the power he holds.
Yeah. Both of them are.
I would have said no. I don't think it's happened until recently. Now I wouldn't be. I mean, if the UFC can get a piece of it,
but it
why
would be
not?
boxing, right?
I would think it would be boxing. I think it'd be, any boxer would be dumb to come and do MMA. It's just it's just so much of an unknown. At least in MMA, boxing is a big part of it.
Right.
But still, I still give the advantage in a boxing match to Mayweather.
You have to.
Right? I mean, you got it, guys. I mean, no, he's never been beaten. So how could you go with a guy that's really never boxed? Although, I mean, hey, he's got that powerful left hand. Who knows? He can sneak one in. Anything can happen. But again, if I had to bet, I would take Floyd.
It's so interesting to like think about it, but like Mike Tyson being like we can probably all agree on some level that he was one of the scariest human beings to walk the face of the earth, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if he stepped foot in to the octagon, he would get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, everyone has a puncher's chance, though.
Right.
But I think a smart guy would just be ankle biting him. You know,
you would immediately shoot, right?
Yeah, I'd like to take him. Look at James Toney came in and fought Randy Couture. James Toney was at one time, a couple time, world champion, heavyweight champion, I believe, or at least cruiserweight, something like that. And Randy Couture went in and finished him in 2 minutes. No problem. Went, took him down right away.
He didn't even mess around trying to stand up.
No,
right?
he was smart. I was like, I hope you don't. Just go in there and take this guy down.
Yeah, it's such a different variable in MMA.
But even stand up too. Like even the stand up, like the striking part. As for a boxer, you start throwing leg kicks at him and head kicks at his face and knees. Like they're
a whole different world.
It's a totally different. Yeah, it's a totally different sport. So that'd be tough.
They say someone was telling me this. I don't know how true it is, but they were saying like boxing is actually worse for you head-wise, concussion-wise, because you're going 12 rounds or whatever. And they said the distance, but
it's the glove.
The glove. That's what I'm saying.
Glove.
They say like an MMA glove, it's just that small padding.
Right.
Boom, you're knocked out. Usually it's over. But like boxing, you get up.
There's more area in a boxing glove, so it's more of a rattle on your brain, because a concussion is when your brain ricochets off your skull.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Floating.
So
that's what I look at it. The reason I think MMA is safer than boxing. I mean, they both have their dangers, obviously, but like you said, with a boxing glove is usually a 12-ounce. They probably box with 12-ounce gloves, so that's almost a pound. with the wrap, all that stuff, and we have 4-ounce gloves. So there's just you get a bigger weight, you're getting hit more in the head, and they have an 8 count. Like we don't. Like we get rocked. We have times where if we recover and we're defending ourselves, they'll let it go. But if we get rocked and we're not, it's over.
Yeah.
There's no 10 seconds. They get 8
That's
count.
true. Yeah, they
get
count.
rocked. They stop. Give them 8 seconds. You good? I'm a fighter. Yeah, I'm good, but you're not good. Your brain's rattled. You get hit again. That's when the damage happens.
Oof. Yeah. So it's true in the sense that
and punches landed. Just punches landed usually in a UFC fight versus a boxing bout are way lower. You might get hit 3 or 4 times. Well, there are fights where you
there are. Yeah,
but some go right to the ground. You might not even take a shot.
We box spar every Thursday. Usually during a camp. We'll spar Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Tuesday and Saturday's MMA. And I'll just box spar usually with a professional boxer on Thursday, and we do 3-minute rounds. That's what they do, instead of 5. In that 3-minute round, I probably throw 30, 40 more punches than I do in a 5-minute round, just because boxing is just all punches. So it's a lot more head
Yeah.
And you got the headgear on.
Yeah, headgear stuff. But headgear doesn't help with hits either. Headgear just helps with cuts.
Cuts, yeah.
That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been knocked out. I've been knocked out a couple times, all by Brian Wright.
Yeah.
Like once to the liver, which was the worst. It was a leg kick to the side of my body, which I'd never experienced in my life. You ever get or knock out someone that way?
No, I've knocked people down in sparring with a body shot, but never like in a fight.
It, like,
and I've been hurt. I've been hurt, but never put down with a body.
Break any
kick.
ribs ever?
No, tore cartilage, which is probably worse. It took forever to heal.
Jeez, man, is your body just like?
It's good right now.
Yeah.
No, it's never.
Well, yeah,
no.
you just
Never
had
know.
the fight at MSG.
Yeah,
That comes to this other question I ask all professional athletes that sit in this chair. How much time do you have left in the sport?
I don't want to put a number on it. I kind of always had like 40 in my head. I think.
You in your 30? If you don't want to say, it's fine.
No, yeah, okay. I'm 35. I'm 35.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I think 5 more years would be ideal.
And
But-
I guess barring major injury, you can keep your body strong. You can do it, right?
Yeah, as long, that's what I said is this: is as long as I'm competitive and I'm in the fights, and my body holds up, I'll do it forever. And once I start feeling like I can't keep up and fight at the best of or my body's just not letting me, I'll walk away.
And you've been in the UFC for how many years now?
This February will be 10 years.
Damn. That's a hell of a career, man.
Yeah.
That's a pro athlete.
and it's changed. It's changed leaps and bounds since you've been in it, right?
Yeah, for sure, it really has. I mean, it was when I got in. It was after the Ultimate Fighter show, the first season. That's when it started really picking up. But since then, I mean, we have Fox. We're on Fox now. It's covered on ESPN every weekend.
Yeah.
It's just night and day.
Yeah,
It's much more accepted.
much more.
Yeah.
And now it's passed in New York, so it's only.
And that's the biggest
it's
media
on top.
capital of the world. So if the commission doesn't mess with us, they're just a little tough to deal with. Yeah.
And you still currently live in Jersey? Tom
I do.
River?
I still live in Tom's River. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you want his address?
I'll go hang out.
You have time to play a quick game.
Let's do it.
Dan Bottom, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Dad Bottom here, and welcome to the game.
We hire this guy.
It's a
Frankie.
game.
It's just called game.
Well, that's what I was told when I walked in. Game time.
We hire this guy to come in. He's announcer Dan Bottom. He's usually in that closet over
That's
there.
Dan Bottom, B-O-D-D-U-M.
And he can't ever get the name of the game right. The game is not called game, Dan.
All right, everybody, let's start over.
All right. I got to do the music over. It's just like every single week you think you get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PBR Podcast, where today we are going to play this game. It's a game.
what
It's a
is
game, isn't it? I mean, it's a game.
It is a game. What is it called?
I believe it's called, you get the Franks. There's a game called the Franks.
It's not called the Franks.
I kind of like the Franks.
Frankie, our producer's over there doing Facebook Live, and Frankie Edgar's here. My dad's name is Frank, but the game's not called the Franks.
The game is called, what is it?
You don't know what it's called?
Okay, it's called Frank
Yes.
and Franks.
Frankie, let me just. I'm gonna help him out. Dan
right,
Bottom.
here we go.
The game is called Frankie with an I, or Frankie IE on his.
Ladies
as
and
in
gentlemen,
Edgar.
Frankie with an I, Frankie I-E,
As in Edgar.
Frankie, the answer, Edgar.
There you go. Now, what do you think? You think you can do it? You think you can do it this time, like straight through and get it right there?
All right, here we go. Yes, Dan Bottom here. Hey, everybody, welcome to PBR Podcast. We're about to play a game called Frankie with an I, or Frankie I-E,
As in
Frankie, the answer, Edgar, who's our guest today, right here on PBR Podcast.
There you go. Thank you, Dan Bottom. It's about time. I'm gonna read you a statement. You're gonna tell me if it's Frankie, or Frankie the answer, Edgar.
Okay.
If it's about them. Now,
If it's about
Something
it's
tells
about-
me
Wait.
if
this is Frankie IE, and I'm
Yes.
Frankie the answer. Who's Frank?
all right, so I'm glad you asked that question. Frank's my father, who lives in a van down by the river, literally.
But I feel like he's gonna know anything about him.
Oh, sorry. It's Frank.
Yeah, he's 60%.
Frankie with an I. Or Frankie IE as an Edgar. I have it written down right in front of me, everybody. It's like not that difficult. So the Frank that we're talking about is my father. Your father's name is Frank as well.
It is, yeah.
So they're probably very similar.
I'd imagine
so.
so.
If you think it's about your dad, it's about my dad, and you'll just say Frank.
All right.
But I think maybe he's comfortable getting announced and brought into the ring. Maybe we should invite
Is Dan coming back?
no, I mean, yeah, Dan, maybe we should bring him in like he would get announced into the fight at MSG.
Yeah, sure. Let's do
What
it.
do you think? Give it a shot.
Dan, you want Dan to do it?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, get over here. 'Cause that's okay. Is this the music I got to work with?
Oh, well, you know what?
I mean that Dan has to work with?
No, that's a good point. It would only be appropriate if we changed it up a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
And this is the song that you walked into at 205, right?
Okay, now entering the podcast table. Hell, we got a Tom's River, New Jersey. That's a place, not a person. Weighing in 145 pounds currently, but was 155, right?
Yes.
All right. 5'6", an American wrestler, a jiu-jitsu fighter. But I gotta tell you, he's gonna be great if we put a wall of him. Okay, we're just gonna put Frankie Edgar at the wall.
POTUS, you can't just can't jump in on Dan Bottom.
I gotta tell you, he just punches people if they try to cross the border. Boom. Knocked out.
POTUS,
Knocked out.
everybody.
Okay, take it, Dan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the game, Frankie the Answer Edgar. And I hope he knows the answer to these
That
questions.
was pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
Dan, not bad, yeah.
It wasn't bad. How do you feel about
Danny B, right? Danny Bottom?
Danny Bottom? Danny Bottom,
B.
check the
Yeah.
oil. You know what I mean?
Dan Bottom.
Oh.
Not spelled like you think.
Maybe before we start, I'll leave this music on because Frankie's comfortable with this music. But maybe before we start, somebody should tell us it's time to start.
You want me to do that? Or you
I
do
want
that?
you to do it.
You want me to do that?
No,
Wait,
you
Dan or me?
As you,
I think you should do it.
I don't know. Derek D is the guy who does the impersonations here, right?
But I feel like you know this guy better than I
Maybe you
do.
should do it as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Oh, that should have been a top or bottom. Michael Buffer or Bruce Buffer.
I gotta go with Michael.
You gotta go
Or
with your
Bruce,
dude,
I
right?
gotta go with Bruce. I mean,
All right, you ready for this game?
Did he say Bruce?
All right, here we go. Frankie with an I, or Frankie IE as in Edgar. That's how you got to answer it to get it right. Number 1, can forever claim he was part of a historic sporting event that took place in the world's most famous arena, UFC 205.
this is me. I gotta go. I would say me.
Right, Frankie IE as in Edgar.
IE, as an Edgar.
Number 2, he has one insurance policy, both for his home and his car, because he lives in his car, which he calls his home.
That's big old Frank.
Big old Frank.
That's big old Frank. He's going to hate this episode. Number 3, arguably the prettiest member of PBR. And I say arguably because Derek thinks he's the prettiest. Hashtag Derek loves Derek.
I would have to say Frankie with an I.
Frankie with an I. Number 4, husband, father, and family man. This Jersey boy puts a high value on loyalty to his team, making him a champ inside and outside of the ring.
I would say the answer.
That is
The answer.
That's Frank the answer.
And also, the answer is very easy there.
Yeah, well, that's how the game
didn't
goes.
make it hard.
That's how the game operates,
It's
man.
him.
It's about him.
That's true.
Number 5, we have to blame him for these terrible games because his loins ultimately created Pizza Beer Revolution, or PBR.
I'm gonna say that's old man Frank.
That's all, man. Frank, you're the winner. Frankie Edgar is the winner. Congratulations.
Oh
We
my
got 'em all
God,
right.
he's the yeah, he did.
I know my Franks.
You know your Franks. I'm surprised to have anything in there like I'm a meat product that
What meat? Who would the answer be?
it would just have to be like Frank, a hot dog.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe if you helped produce the episode, that would.
I just got this earlier today.
I think it was harder to
This game.
explain the game than to play it.
Yeah. I think I agree.
Right?
I agree.
I mean, Dan Bodden is just no. Is it Bodden?
What? You're like
Bottom?
It's bottom,
Bottom.
but DD.
Bottom with an M
Bottom.
or with an N?
M.
N.
M.
N.
As
Say it
in-
with M.
M.
N.
M.
As in N. N. I
M.
think we're saying the same thing.
M as in more.
Oh,
Dad Bottom.
got it. I got it, man. Oh, that's the game.
That was a fun game. The answer was Frank. By the way, that's an awesome song that you come out to.
Oh yeah, it's been coming out to that one since like 2009.
That gets everyone souped up. But like, what's your? This is a dumb like your finishing move, your combination. Like, what's your?
Yeah, I kind of just throw a lot of punches, look for takedowns, and look to ground and pound a lot. You know, I kind of do it. I like to say I do it all. You know,
Once you get them down, I mean, what's that feeling like? Like you guys, you get them in the UFC, they get them down, and then you're just wailing on their face.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just- but like you come down not
Hammer
necessarily
fist.
with a punch,
Hammer fist.
Hammer
yeah.
fist or elbow. Yeah,
Is that more prominent? Like here,
sometimes it's just tough to get
The leverage.
momentum. So here it's just easier. You know.
It's very primal too, man. Right? You're on top of somebody.
Yeah, and just beating the hell out.
Like
of
if you
them,
watch a gorilla like fight.
it's like real. I mean, it's real fighting.
Yeah.
Like boxing, you can't get the guy to the ground and start. I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
fighting.
I mean, it's
you're
real.
just
It's pretty
hammering
much as-
his
If
face.
you see a fight in the street, it's gonna look like an MMA fight mostly. I mean, maybe not
Without
very
technical-
technical.
It'll resemble it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you see two guys fight in the street, you clearly know who knows what they're doing and who doesn't.
like what's his name?
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Kimbo Slice.
yeah.
right? He was like more of he was a street fighter first,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
kind of was found and then cultivated.
Well, he's a perfect example of like that whole Tyson theory. Like Kimbo didn't fare well, and he was a straight stand-up guy.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah.
he fought Kimbo, people would pay $10,000 to fight him, right? And they would film it. He had a rule that you were not allowed to take him to the ground.
Yeah, well, it's different. I think they call it Queensberry's rules, which is all stand up. And you get knocked down, you have 30 seconds to get up. And then there's no time limit. You just go, you have 30 seconds to get up. I believe that was the rules they did.
and if you don't,
Yeah, but if you don't get up, that's it. Fight's over.
Oh, okay.
You know. But yeah, he fought one guy, this guy Rich Gannon, I think. Mm-hmm. And
That's one of the famous 3 videos.
Yeah.
Rich Gannon. Remember
It was
he
like in a
quarterback?
dojo, right?
The same
It was like-
quarterback
no,
with the
that
Raiders.
guy, not
and
that.
he was a
He was a football player, or a cop. He
was a cop, yeah. And he was like choking him and this and that, and they were, get off, you can't choke. And this guy was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, so just,
And he came with an entourage. I forget, it was out of Miami, and I think there was like a company behind it that's escaping my mind right now.
I'm not
Do you
sure.
remember what it's
Yeah,
called?
nah,
Sidney Lesperance,
Cha-ching.
our fact checker. Fact check that.
but that guy made it into the UFC by fighting Kimbo.
Oh, he made it in
Yeah,
as
that
well.
guy Gannon fought in UFC. He got smoked.
But and Kimbo didn't make it. He fought in.
No, he did.
He did.
Yeah,
they
he
should have
did.
had those 2 fight, right?
Yeah. I don't know if where that guy is now.
Did you when you said in your UFC fighting career you had 21 fights,
21, yeah.
lost 4. Now those 4, did you go the distance with those?
Yeah,
or
I've
every single
never
one?
been stopped. Yeah, no.
Oh, that's-
yeah.
He's got the answer for everything.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, so
Hence
there was
his name.
so all of them were a judge's decision.
Yeah,
kind of?
decisions. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You've never been knocked out.
Yeah,
I mean, you've
knocked out,
probably been knocked
submitted.
out in your career. Like,
No, I have never been knocked
Oh,
out.
really?
I've been rocked before. In my fights, I've been rocked before quite a few times. But in practice, I've been rocked before. Never been KO'd completely, though.
He's the real life Rocky Balboa, man.
I was about to say, man. Yeah, you're like the Rocky from Jersey.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
I'll take it. Yeah, I grew up watching those. I still watch them.
They're great
They're
movies.
great.
Yeah.
Did you see the last one?
Creed.
Awesome.
Creed
Did you see it?
one?
Was it good? I didn't
I
see
thought
it
it was
yet.
good. I thought it was good.
So good.
I'm easy.
really
I'm
enjoyed
easy.
it.
Rocky, man, you're Rocky. I'm good. You know?
Well, the only one I didn't love was I think it was 5. The one before, not 5, but the one with Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was
one
five.
everyone
That was
doesn't
5.
like.
Rocky 5.
Didn't love
yeah.
that one.
Creed, I thought was
Creed
great.
is essentially 6, or there was one.
No, there was 6. Rocky Balboa was one where he came back and fought Antonio Tarver. I don't know who his character was, but Antonio Tarver, the real boxer.
Oh yeah.
that one felt a
You know,
lot like Rocky, like the original Rocky.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Creed was very like realistic in the sense it was Apollo Creed's son.
Right,
and like
right.
the movie didn't seem like, all right, this is forced. Like Rocky in the movie, he didn't really want to train him, and then he just kept pursuing him, and then he started training. It's just a really good movie.
I mean, Rocky won. I mean, I love mostly all of them, but Rocky 1 by itself was it was an Academy Award winning
Absolutely.
movie. It
Yeah,
was
I
a
think
great
that's
movie.
probably like if it just stack up a movie, not a fight boxing, it's not just a movie. But Rocky 1's the best one.
It's great, yeah, hands down.
Story and everything,
That is great, but I mean the one Rocky 4.
the training that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Oh, well, again, with the Russian?
With the Russian.
Oh, it doesn't get any
Great.
better
I
than
mean,
1980s montage. You know what I mean?
it's so amazing.
Chopping wood, growing a beard.
The soundtrack kills it.
Yeah, and he's like, and then they show like obviously the Russian with all the technical stuff back then, like training with all the
he's
high end equipment,
Lifting rocks and
yeah.
Best wrestling movie of all time?
Vision
Vision
Quest.
Quest,
Come on,
right?
man.
The peg,
Loud and
did you do
Swing,
the
baby.
pegboard? You still do it, or
We up in Edge, and one place we train at in Hoboken has one. We'll do it.
that's hard? You ever do the pegboard?
My brother has it in his gym.
Oh, does he?
That's tough. I mean, I usually can't go down. I can get up. That's about it.
All right. So this sound indicates armchair futurist. Armchair futurist. The year's 2050, 34 years from now. What will the sport of mixed martial arts, or just combat sports in general, what will it look like in 30
When you're 70,
in 34
69
years?
I think it'll look like soccer is today,
What do you mean?
like soccer around the world.
Oh,
Not
that
soccer in
big.
America.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Around the
saying.
world.
Oh, I
It'll
was like,
be
that's
huge.
an interesting answer. I'm like, this is.
It'll be like
It'll be
Nobody,
huge.
what, nobody
You know,
touches, nobody complains?
It'll be
You know,
good. It'll be
I mean, you
huge.
got the NFL.
Yeah.
Is only big in America, really, right? That's it.
trying.
Nowhere else. They go to
Mexico was pretty big. That game was huge.
It was huge.
Mexico City, right?
Mexico City, yeah.
Cowboys?
Well, that's a huge.
Play there? Who
That's a
was it?
huge city. I bet you they give out tickets for free. No, but I mean, people just aren't. They're not.
Yeah.
They don't know football.
Right.
You know, soccer. I mean, besides America, it's huge everywhere, and it's starting to pick up.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
It's getting bigger here too. But I think MMA will be like that because I mean, every culture understands fighting. You know, fighting is just ingrained in our souls.
That's a good way to look at it. I never thought of that. Like fighting, like just
It's
one on
just
one.
fighting. Yeah, it's just.
Roman Coliseum. But I mean, MMA was huge overseas prior to coming here at all, right? Pride and
Pride, yeah, but UFC was first. UFC was first, but Pride is huge. But now there's
Glory,
there's ONE
and
FC.
Dream.
Glory and Dream used to be. It's not no longer. Glory is kickboxing. They're pretty big, but yeah, I think it'll be as big as like soccer internationally.
So the size, you obviously think it's going to be huge like that. I don't disagree with you, but do you think the game in itself will change at all?
To me, I'll compare it to wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and wrestling's been around probably longer than jiu-jitsu, so some things you'll go through fads where a certain style or certain technique will work, and then everyone figures it out, and then you got to figure out a different style, different technique. So I think you'll just see the evolution of MMA just kind of change a lot. Where in the beginning everyone was getting submitted. Now people really don't get submitted much because they're so aware of jiu-jitsu. But the jiu-jitsu will change and people start getting submitted again. It's just the way it works.
You see, you brought up the NFL, and in my opinion, the NFL is on a decline from it's obviously has been on the top for a long time. It's still huge, but in my opinion, it's on its decline, and I think a lot of that decline comes from what we've talked about tonight: concussions and people getting too big, bad press.
Yeah,
so it hurts the sport. Now MMA is or UFC is on that rise. It's at the top. Is in 34 years like. Are we going to be too big as human beings, too powerful to actually to play any combat sport, let alone?
Well, I think they're going to be like there's going to be weight classes. There's
always going to be weight classes, but even Frankie at his weight is 100 times, maybe not 100, but 10 times stronger than somebody 20 years ago at your weight.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think we're getting smaller as a population. I think they said that.
Yeah,
I think they are. Yeah, I think.
I mean, you look at a linebacker now. Look at a linebacker in the 70s or linemen.
Yeah, well, they're bigger. They're bigger, but they're more athletic.
Yeah, they can
That's
run
the thing.
4,
I think
5,
you'll see guys just get more and more athletic. I think for little guys though, like there's really no avenue for little guys. There's no, little guys aren't playing basketball. They're not playing football. They're not doing hockey, baseball. Even baseball players are pretty big guys. So I feel like, you'll see wrestling and jiu-jitsu, the light guys, those are the best athletes in the world. But in the heavyweights, like 205ers and heavyweights, I mean, a lot of those guys are doing basketball. They're doing baseball. They're doing football.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you look at heavyweight in
right,
wrestling, heavyweights in jiu-jitsu, heavyweight in MMA, those are kind of always the slimmer. And
that's a good
slimmer
point.
weight classes,
right? It's thinned out. The athleticism is thinned out.
Because if you look at just like it's just a numbers game, really. There's not that many big people in the world. There's definitely more people in the middle.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I wonder. I mean, I'm kind of. Does everyone probably listening might be wondering this? Do you know when your next fight is?
I don't. They're coming back to New York. They're going to Brooklyn in February.
Oh, at the Barclays?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm trying to get on that card. I like not traveling.
And what's that process? Is that a whole? It's like, hey, I'm ready to fight. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Just
That's
put
pretty
me
much
on.
it. They just have to put me on the card. That's really it. So I have my manager, handling that stuff.
Best place to fight.
He just fell in the garden, man.
I mean, yeah, the Garden was such a surreal thing, Usually I like Vegas just because the amenities and everything's so easy, but New York is like that too. They have everything everywhere. You don't have to go anywhere for anything. So Vegas, the weather's nice, and you get a good feel. You feel like a fight town in Vegas, but New York takes the cake.
I mean, that's home base.
Yeah.
Before we get out of this, is there any way we can have you choke Derek out? No? The answer is no? Oh, please?
I'm good.
Frankie, thank you so much for taking the time to come out. Is
Had a
there
good time.
anything you want to plug on the way out?
Nah, man, just hit me up, Frankie Edgar on everything.
That's great that you got that too, right? It's not easy to get your
Yeah.
full
It's just
name.
your regular Frankie, i.e. Edgar.
Yep.
Revolution.
Nice. That's it.
No, yeah. Go check out his fights. Follow him on Twitter and stuff. DerekT.com, of course.
Derek's the captain of plugging himself. PBR Podcast. You can find us on the web, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram us. Give us some love, and we'll love you back. Frankie, the answer Edgar. Thank you so much, man.
Pleasure, guys. Stay.